Good morning, Bardstown and Nelson County, and welcome to another edition of Bradford and Brooks. Jim Brooks and Margie Bradford with you on this steamy, sunny Wednesday morning. Good morning, Margie.
Morning, Jim.
Well, I'll tell you, this heat advisory that I think I heard Roger say on the weather or the news that heat advisory expires today. And that'll be a welcome.
It will be
welcome relief, because I think it's been in place since either late last week, and I will tell you, I've been feeling it too. I mean, it's almost too hot to do anything.
It's really brutal. I mean, I turn the air conditioner on in my room when I go to bed at night, and you get up in the middle of the night and walk out of there, and it's as hot as it is in the daytime in the rest of the house. So, right. People who don't have central air or fans or something that they can keep going, they're going to really suffer.
Well, and of course, in this heat wave and all the warnings about high heat, etc., our upstairs air conditioning went out. Oh. Of course, the only person,
naturally, that's what it does.
Our son is home from college.
Yeah.
And so he's the only one who sleeps up there. We don't even go upstairs anymore for anything except go to the attic. So he's the one who's been sweltering. So anyway, it was so bad up there yesterday that he slept on the couch downstairs
with the fan blowing, I'm sure.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to have some repairs done. Our service guy was out this morning, and I'll tell you, when you have air conditioning work done, you better open that checkbook.
Oh yeah, I just had 2 new air conditioners put in right before the heat wave.
So anyway, I don't know that we're in a big hurry to change it. Our son is, since he sleeps upstairs.
Well, but you have to admit that is a legitimate complaint.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he's not paying rent, so he kind of is. He's I drag him outside and he has to help me on chores, take out the garbage, whatever. But anyway, of course the heat part still works fine. So we're praying for cooler weather.
Absolutely.
And of course, class is starting about 2.5 weeks. So he'll be out of our hair again for a while. So
probably to his relief.
Yeah, he always talked about how cold their dorm was. Obviously, somebody else is paying the bill.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, well, Margie, we have a very special guest with us this morning. Stacy Phelps. She's president of. I'll tell you, I know the name's kind of evolved over the years, because I was good friends with Dan Bennett when he was head of tourism. But let me see. Is it still the Bardstown-Nelson County Tourist Commission?
Commission and convention.
That's right.
Officially.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I remember I always left out the convention. Dan would call me up over at the Standard and say, "Jim, you left out the name." I'm like, "I had you." So on first reference in newspapering, you always use the full name of an entity, and then on second reference, you can abbreviate it or shorten it.
Yeah, Bardstown-Nelson County Tourism, much easier to say for sure.
Right.
So it's convention and tourism, is it?
Commission and convention, yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of tourism, Stacy, I mentioned to you earlier, and again, those of us who, don't have a business downtown, but I'm always downtown, going through one way or another. It looks like and especially even going back last year, I don't know where our numbers are officially, but there's a lot of foot traffic downtown, almost any day of the week and even many hours of the evening. Like I said, I came through a couple of Sundays ago, between 8 and 9. It was getting dark, and the town was North Main was, or North 3rd Street was as empty as I think I'd seen it in a long time. So I don't know. When I see all that activity, I mean, that's to me it's a sign of dollars being exchanged, and people having a good time, enjoying the town. And because I can remember weekends, many years ago when the biggest activity in town on a weekend would have been the many buses that Steve Hayden had come into town on tours.
Yep.
There just wasn't a lot of other things downtown.
Yep.
But man, things have changed.
For sure.
Do you still have the buses come in like that?
We do. We put a big initiative behind motor coaches again. I was telling Jim earlier, that's where I started in tourism back in 1998. I worked for Steve Hayden, and that was our focus then, was motor coaches. So we now have a person designated just for motor coaches in tourism again. We're attending a lot of different motor coach shows across the country. So we're putting some money behind that in order to get those motor coaches back. And in the summertime, you'll see them parked on the side of the streets now in the last couple of years. So we have had an increase back in our motor coaches again.
Do you have local guides? Because I know, having done motor coaches, you need
A step-on guide, we do, and that's one of the things that we offer a motor coach to come to Bardstown. We give them a free step-on guide for a city tour
well,
to
that's
kind of.
good, because a lot of places you don't.
Yes.
You have to pay.
Yep. So we do that. That's just a little extra initiative that we put behind that. We think if we plan their trip for them, most tourism agencies don't plan the trip. They, just kind of promote their area, but we will actually plan their whole entire trip while they're here. So we do itinerary planning also now. So.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I guess because that as tourism has changed over the years, it was my belief, probably mistaken, that motor coaches kind of fell out of favor. But it seems to me that I've had family members. That motor coaches have really not fallen out of favor. There's still many tours out there, and lots of them. So it's good to see it, because I remember I saw several downtown, and to me that was a good sign. Because I remember how many buses would be lined up, in downtown, and I'm like, well, that was, of course, I had to give props to Steve Hayden. He's a wonderful entrepreneur.
100%.
And one of the hardest working men in tourism I think I've ever met.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely taught me everything I know about work ethic. He was a go-getter. Morning, night, it didn't matter. He was always, working the groups. So we're going to try something. I haven't got Steve aboard. I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I'd love to do like a reunion tour with Steve, with some of the motor coaches, just bring them back, because it blows my mind when I attend some of these shows. Some of these motor coaches are the same ones I worked with 25 years ago, and they always ask about him every single time, every show. They want to know how he's doing. So he definitely made a huge impact in the motor coach world, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I will tell you, I think that, of course, I did some work for Steve briefly, but he appreciated anyone who shared his same work ethic, and he kind of expected that, and you knew that. But some of the people I've known over the years that worked for him loved working for him. He was a good boss.
He absolutely was. I only have great things to say about Steve, for sure.
Well, he certainly made an impact on tourism in Nelson County.
100%. He actually made Bardstown-Nelson County what it is. Years ago, it's where it all started, was with him.
Oh yeah. Well, Stacy, now, as I talked before the show, you've been president of local tourism since April last year. But you have, like you mentioned, you back with, and it wasn't when you took over as president. It's not like you were on strange territory. Right.
I knew exactly what we were doing and where we wanted to go with it, and we had an extremely successful 2024. So I think what we've done so far, we're doing right. So we're going to keep on doing it.
Well, didn't you have a special people come in to do interviews for a?
It was. You mean for the hiring process, or?
No, I'm talking about
travel writers.
Yes. So we put a lot of money in last year's budget for travel writers. We know if our name is out there, we're going to be seen a whole lot more. And we ended, we're on a fiscal year, so we just ended our fiscal year June 30th. But at that time, we had been seen by 1.4 billion people. Or, it could have been the same person looking at some things, but at least 1.4 billion times we were seen in magazine articles from influencers. So we know by putting money behind that, the exposure.
1.4 billion?
Billion, yes, billion. Yeah, billion. And, if we would have paid to be in a lot of those articles, we're looking at, $400 million is what it would have cost us, which we don't have that kind of money. So we know the earned media is huge for us. And that's, you've seen the Today Show here in December for the Marius Main Street. We didn't pay for that. And just things like that, continues to get our exposure out there. And that's what we want.
How do you, just give us an example of how you do that?
So, pretty much a writer, we will, put our name out there. We vet them to make sure, their numbers are where we want to be seen.
Right.
We go after, different demographics. We target sometimes,
like inviting them to come and
we either invite them or, our name is out there. Our PR company is constantly looking at magazines that are kind of familiar with some of the things. They'll push our name and we'll, take them around, host them. We're with them from the time they arrive to the time they leave. We show them everything that we have here in Bardstown and in return, hopefully get a good story out of it. So it worked really good for us in 2024 for sure.
Well, I will tell you that just as a journalist, to me, articles written by a third person are always going to have tremendous impact. And I think, of course, maybe as a journalist, I'm a little prejudiced, but I think an independent person writing about a location has tremendous impact, and maybe even more so than display advertising, because that's somebody's writing about their experience.
Yep.
And it's not all, and their experience here. And I think that is so valuable.
And that's what, we know a lot of people, that's what they're looking for is experiences. And that, having someone come here and actually do that and then going back and writing about it, whether, it's an influencer or a writer for a publication, just the media that we get back in that is incredible. And we've seen a huge increase in 2024, 2025. Going into this year.
We have a lot more hotel rooms now than we used to have.
We do, yes.
Is that a factor in attracting tourists here?
It does. In the past, a lot of people, I will say international travelers, they would come to Bardstown, but they wouldn't stay the night. We didn't have the amenities that they were looking for. And, now with, Log Still Distillery, they have upscale lodging out there. We just had a new hotel open up about a month ago. So, we can cater to more people now than we've ever been able to. We have enough rooms from our other local hotels that we can house, more motor coaches. They don't have to be as selective on their dates. More than one motor coach or two can come in at the same time because we can accommodate them all across the board. So,
well, I'll tell you the whole industry. There's been some in the last 10 years. There's been some tremendous entrepreneurs come to Bardstown, and we've seen renovations of housing that's just very creative and really it's capitalizing on what Bardstown already has, the reputation, because we have needed more places for people to stay.
Yeah, and when people come and go to our downtown, they're just amazed at, our historical preservation and how our downtown looks. And, a lot of downtowns, that I visited, they're boarded up, and come to ours and it's thriving, and it's because of the people that are in place to make things like that happen. So,
Jim and I have talked about that a bunch of times. About the difference between our downtown and most any other downtown, say in the state of Kentucky. I'll use Elizabethtown as an example. They just don't have a thriving downtown the way we do.
Yeah, and the Main Street program does an amazing job with that. Randy Mauser and her board they do such an amazing job in making things like that happen. But at any given time, we can have a group in our downtown, and they're just amazed at the beauty of it, but also how it's been, so preserved historically over the
Right.
years.
And we have to give a lot of credit to, people early on who were really into preservation.
Yes.
Like Dixie and Franklin Hibbs.
Absolutely.
Of course, dear friends of mine yet. I just know way back when they were beating that
Yes.
out, working on that and helping to make sure that we preserve downtown. And it has made a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Well, do you have an appreciation like I do for, there's a whole generation of people who were involved in tourism, and what we have today was really built on work.
Right.
Started, because I'm getting older, I can't remember. I can't do the math over to how many years
Catherine
ago.
Connor for one with the state park.
Yeah, 40, 50 years ago.
Yes.
Look at the origins of the Stephen Foster story.
Right.
That for many years it was one of the premier attractions.
And the thing about it is, there have been other outdoor festivals and plays that have gone by the wayside. For a while there, hot summer night, that's okay. You didn't have all that much air conditioning, but Bardstown and Nelson County has kept on.
Right.
They have adjusted over the years and been able to stay current. So I think that's contributed a lot. That draws a lot of.
100. Yes.
Yeah, of course, you got to have a lot more. The bourbon tourism now has,
Lord, yes.
become a huge thing. But when you talk about going back and crediting the people for the start of the tourism industry here in Bardstown, you really have to give a lot of credit to those people who were far thinking and were willing to turn their pockets out to help keep it going.
Right. Well, we could spend the whole show talking about the early leaders in tourism and historic preservation. Without historic preservation, we would not be what we are today.
Yeah.
Yep.
It played a big role in, and even going back, 70s and 80s, that played a role in Bardstown's history. In connection with Stephen Foster, helped attract a lot of our Japanese-related businesses, which I find fascinating.
Oh yeah.
And we, of course, we had leadership that was that were positive about growth and bringing people in both as tourists and as in industry and business. So,
Right.
So all that kind of works together, Now, give me your view of the last 18 months in tourism. Again, like I say, the seat of the pants look I get is that there's a lot of foot traffic. Almost, it seems every time I'm in town, there's not an abundance of empty parking spots.
No, for sure. Well, in 2024, we've seen 1.4 million people just in our downtown. And, we know 2.5 visited the Bourbon Trail, but we know 1.4 of those came to our downtown. Something we started last year was a tracking system. We've never had any kind of tracking system. You get asked all the time, how many people came? You never had an accurate answer for that. So we now are with a program called Placer, and it does tracking of people. It's a little creepy a little bit, but it tells us exactly where they went, where they're from, how much money they make, where they seen us, what brought them to Bardstown, and so we can at any given time tell how many people are in our downtown at that time. And that. From 2021 to 2024, we've seen a 21 million increase in visitor spend. So just last year, I'll make sure I got this right, $91 million was generated in visitor spend just here in Nelson County.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so we know that's up 21 million. Yeah. So we know
94 million.
91 million.
91 million.
And that's up over 21 million since 2021. So, we definitely have numbers to back it up now, and we can show, those increases. So 2024 was a really good year for us. Well,
how's of course, it's the tourism season still on. you used to be able to almost set a clock by tourism season, and because after a certain point in the fall, it would drop off,
Yep.
you know. But I don't see that much anymore. I mean, there's people here all year round.
Yeah.
So, you know, visiting, and I think that's, and I don't know. Of course, I guess it's just the maturing of the market, and people don't wait for summer to go on day trips and things.
Yeah, we do a big push. January and February were always, our slower time of the year, but now really we're not really seeing that anymore. We're a year-round destination, and we tell people that. You do see some people come in January when it is a little bit slower. They know they can get into distillery tours. A lot of people come here thinking they can just hop on a tour and and that's just not how it is. You have to plan out. Some of the distilleries right now, are a month out or even more than that, as far as getting reservations in the summer months. So we've seen a kind of a big increase toward the slower months, and that's why people are coming here then. But we also are doing a huge push at Christmas time, so we're trying to make us a little bit more known at Christmas time.
Now, didn't Bardstown get some honors recently in the last couple of years about being a Christmas
We've been called
destination?
Yeah, and honestly, we just trademarked Christmas Capital of Kentucky because that's how we want to be known. And we had a great Christmas last year. We started the Christmas Carnival last year, which was a local event, but we're also making it bigger this year. So we're trying to make Bardstown a Christmas destination for people, also kind of like a smaller version of Opryland. So we're going to have the carnival is back this year, bigger and better. So we're excited about it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, it's an exciting time, I think, to be in Bardstown.
For sure. And, for the Christmas Carnival, it was something had always been my dream was to have, an event at Christmas time. And we decided to give that money back to the community. So we were able to give $15,000 back to the Shop with the Cop program from the Christmas Carnival. So we know that money definitely helps some families at Christmas time. So that'll be the same thing we'll be doing again this year.
That's wonderful because that's such a
So what
good
does the
program.
carnival consist of?
Well, it has a little bit of everything. It's, suited for, the adults had just as much fun as the kids. We had a carousel underneath the rotunda at my Old Kentucky home. We had midway games. We had bounce houses. We had characters.
So this was all at the state park?
Yes, and it will be there again this year, and we have almost double the size of what it was last year, and we're going to have an ice skating rink underneath the rotunda this year. So, yeah, so it's definitely going to be magical. It's a really low ticket price of $10 a person, and then all that money just went straight back to the community. So.
Now the ice rink won't be real ice; it'll be like the artificial
It's that synthetic,
surface.
yeah, that synthetic ice, yeah. But it's going to be really cool. It's a great place to have it underneath that rotunda, and it will. People are going to be really, really excited when they see even the additions that we've added to it. It's exciting.
I'm sure. Well, I tell you, my hat's off to you and your staff because, for keeping keeping things moving and growing, and I heard many raves about the first time they brought the synthetic ice skating to town, and I think that's a wonderful project. My only experience with ice skating, Margie, was when I was 6 years old. My father bought I guess it was 15-foot. It was looked like lawn edging, solid lawn edging. Filled it with water, and of course it was freezing cold in January. Yeah. And it's froze solid. Well, and we all got skates for Christmas, and my sister could skate. My older brother, well, not so much.
You got ice skates.
Yeah. And so I mean, never having skated, I had skates with two runners to make it easier, on each
That's
boot.
the kind I need.
Well, I fell down so much I cracked the ice. So after that, I said I'm never going to ice skate again, and that's probably for the best.
I had one ice skating incident. So I ended up more on my fanny than I did on my feet.
So yeah, I definitely won't be trying that. I don't even know that I could even make it out on the ice, so I'm gonna pass that one up. But
Well, Margie, at our ages, we probably should avoid anything that could lead to a fall. Given so, and that's
if we avoided all those, Jim, we wouldn't go anywhere.
well, you can do so safely.
That's true.
True. I get tripped up on our stupid dog's leash sometimes, because he's always running around, and if you're not careful, you'll be in the middle of his leash.
I think he likes being with you.
He almost had me on top of him.
You're a buddy.
But
God forbid a stormy night, huh?
Yeah. Oh, well, then he's in bed with us.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. But he's figured out where his place in bed is. So,
does he leave room for you all?
Well,
That's the
yeah,
question.
he does. Because he gets up behind me, gets right in between us. Well, I will tell you, because of him, we ended up going from a queen to a king-size bed. So he actually can be in bed, and we don't even know he's there. So anyway, that was a good upgrade from a queen. All right, enough about dogs.
Oh, no, you're good.
Well, Stacy, you all have been displaced temporarily with all the massive upgrades going on at the old. Now, I can't. And this is just me. I've always called it the courthouse, and so to me, it's always the old courthouse. And I don't think that's the name is. I think there is a sign or a tourist information or tourist center.
Visitor center.
Visitor center. That's right. Yep. But anyway,
it's still the old courthouse.
That's what I go by too. I'll say the old courthouse.
Courthouse.
Yeah.
Now, Stacy, I know that we're talking just really massive renovations, but one thing, and I think the courthouse has always needed this, are bathrooms.
Yes.
Publicly accessible bathrooms on the first floor.
Yes.
Not going upstairs or up an elevator. So will that be a reality?
It will be, hopefully by December. The projected plan was 6-month renovation. So definitely it's coming, whether it's in 2025 or 2026. There will be a bathroom downstairs for the public. Yeah.
Well, because, now, of course, when they built the pavilion, the bathroom's there, but I think, you need them at the visitor center. You need them close, and so that's going to be a wonderful upgrade.
Yeah.
Along with, as you had said earlier, making the visitor center look more like a visitor center, not an old courthouse.
Correct, yeah. So we are doing a huge renovation. It started July 1, so we are about a month into it. They're making great progress. I just did a walkthrough last week. Was amazed how far they've came along since they started. So we may hit that 6-month mark, but either way, a brand new visitor center is coming very, very soon. So we're super excited. It will definitely look like a visitor center and not an old courthouse for sure.
Well, now, will they continue to have the courthouse? I mean, to do like fiscal court there?
Yeah, everything will be upstairs like it currently is. They had to also move out because the heating and air system went out. So that had to be replaced. And in order to get that installed upstairs, they had to also move out. So we'll all be back as soon as it's done with a brand new place to go to.
Well, and I have to give Judge Hutchins and fiscal court kudos for making this. This is kind of a combined project, though.
Absolutely.
Though you all are funding either all or most of your own renovations.
Right. Both us and fiscal court are putting money toward that renovation. So without them, it definitely could not happen. So we're super thankful for Tim and fiscal court for sure for this.
Well, I think of course, Tim being in the having many years as leading Handy Food Mart, which is a public-facing business. He worked with the public day in, day out. He knows the importance of tourism and, having a good facility. And so it was to me, it was a no-brainer that this has to happen.
Need to be done, yep.
Yeah.
And we work super close with fiscal court. My grandfather was a magistrate for many, many years. So I have a love for fiscal court anyway, for personal reasons. But they do a great job. They help us out so much. And he's done a fantastic job the last couple of years.
Right, and I think that having all the agencies together under one roof makes so much sense.
It does. And, we work so close with, the Main Street program. We're a huge sponsor of everything that they do. We're, also with the Chamber of Commerce. We're all super close, and being all there together, it makes it really easy to get stuff done like we do.
Right. I mean, it can't help but, keep the lines of communication going and reducing duplication of effort or, so that's, anyway, of course, we can thank Gus Wilson for wanting to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, Gus Wilson he did a really good job. He was good. Along with, encouraging us to get gas.
Yeah, that's right. Natural gas.
Forget natural gas. I mean, he pushed that when it wasn't popular with some people. And, among other things. And Gus was really good about involving. He had a citizens panel.
That's right.
And it took in a lot of people. But, he would regularly meet and, give us your ideas,
Right,
and give you a public forum.
Right. He was truly a consensus builder.
Yes,
too.
yes, he was.
He was.
He was.
And we've had a string of good mayors. I mean, we've had good leadership generally in his city and county. So
yes,
and that's
that's one reason we have the town that we have.
That's right. That's right.
Because these people were far thinking and respected history.
Yep.
All right, we need to take a commercial break, and we'll be back. Our special guest today is Bardstown-Nelson County Tourism President Stacy Phelps, and we'll hear more about what's happening in tourism, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Stay tuned. You're listening to Bradford and Brooks. All right, you're back with Bradford and Brooks. Jim Brooks, Margie Bradford, with you till the top of the hour, which isn't that far away. And stay tuned to WBRT for the best in state and local news. And it's got some guys across the street doing some landscaping and mowing, and it's a hot day already. So it looks like they're staying cool, though, as much as they can. All right, that's something I've got to do when I get home. If you try to wait late in the day when it starts cooling off, you've got about 40 minutes to mow. And when you're trying to mow through that...
And you've got to fight the mosquitoes.
Yeah. Well, I try to drive fast enough they can't catch me. Anyway.
That's safe, Jim.
Hey, you do what works.
I know.
Our special guest today is Stacy Phelps. She's the president of Bardstown-Nelson County Tourism. And Stacy, now let's talk a little bit about, and this, I'm sure you remember this too, that how you all are funded. And that, and I can remember years ago there was a little controversy about how money is raised to fund tourism. But when you looking back at it now, how much that funding has rolled over into economic development and really, really made a huge impact, and it does every year.
For sure. We are funded by hotel and restaurant taxes. So we are 1% restaurant, 3% hotel tax. And so that's kind of one reason why we made some changes last year, and we started doing more community involved activities like the Christmas Carnival, because we know that big portion of our restaurant tax is coming from our local community.
Sure.
And so by knowing that, we want to support them and thank them for everything throughout the year. So that's why we've started, some more local festivals and things like that to show our appreciation for our local community.
Well, like I say, that over the years, that money has returned to Nelson County.
Yes.
Many times over.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that money goes back into marketing Bardstown-Nelson County. It also goes into sponsoring pretty much, we are a sponsor of pretty much any event that's held here in Nelson County. We give over $100,000 in sponsorships in our budget. And then we also give money back to in forms of grants to local nonprofits. So this this year we'll be giving back $135,000 in grants, and that's the most we've ever gave before, because we know that supports our businesses, that helps them drive traffic into Bardstown. So we'll continue to do that, and every year we try to increase it a little bit. So we're super excited. We'll be giving that money away here in August. So we're super excited. We had more applicants this year than we've ever had. So we have some really good applicants this year.
So give us an example of some of the grants.
Civil War Museum, Stephen Foster's story is always a big one. We've helped the Railway Museum before. Anything like that. The Hospitality Association. You may notice that you're seeing the Hospitality Association out there a little bit more. We've revamped that. I actually hired someone to just take care of events and hospitality. So that will offer training for hotel workers, restaurants, anybody in the hospitality industry. But, Oscar Getz is another big one. That goes to help them with their marketing efforts, websites, anything that would drive traffic into Bardstown. A lot of those places apply for a lot of help with marketing. Stephen Foster, I know they use it for their publication to help with print costs and things like that. So it's definitely money that is used where it needs to go, for sure.
Well, and again, all that money really is an investment in the community and all the different attractions and helping them achieve their mission.
Absolutely.
So that's money that turns over several times in the community.
Right. It comes in and it goes back out in a whole lot of different forms. And then from that, then it comes back in. It's like a constant cycle. It's filtered through, and it definitely goes to support a lot of organizations. Now,
I'm just curious, what kind of feedback do you usually get from visitors? Because I know that, of course, going to fiscal court and on the summer, well, I was going to say summer months, but it's not limited to summer anymore. I'd pass by people at the visitor center, and they'd be asking questions and making comments, and sometimes I'd just stop and I'd just kind of eavesdrop a little bit or talk to them, and I tell you, there's no better way to see how others see your community until you talk to them and get their feedback, because there's things. When I worked for the newspaper, I'd interview people from out of town, and that perspective you get is so valuable because they're seeing things through their lens, through their experience, and having lived here all my life, when I was growing up, I thought every little Kentucky town had a Talbot Tavern and had a St. Joe church. I didn't realize these things were unique to Bardstown for many years, but it's that provides a really interesting perspective to me to hear how other people see our town.
Yeah, my family gets aggravated when we go out to eat because I'm always like, "Where are you from? What brought you here? What do you like?" But the thing I hear most is our Southern hospitality. It's our people, and I say it all the time when I'm speaking to groups. People come here for bourbon and history, but they stay because of the people, and they return because of the people. And that's what we hear over and over. It's just like, you all have the nicest community. People are so nice here. Your downtown is beautiful. They love just walking the streets, but we have such a wide range of things we can offer. We have our history, we have music, we have culture, we have bourbon. So, we have so many different angles that we go with. It's not all bourbon that people come here for. Right. They come for St. Joe or Gethsemane or, places like that. My old Kentucky home, the Stephen Foster story, and the Civil War Museum. People come for just those things. And then you have two different groups of people, and we target them both differently. We do a lot of international shows, so we've kind of upped our international presence. Those are looking more for bourbon, but then you have your motor coaches and your families that are coming here more for your history. So I just think it's really nice to see when people come in and just hear, for them just to say it's the people, it's the hospitality.
I know for years, Dixie Hibbs helped with the tour buses. Of course, she was a historian, and she was able to do all that. Do you have anybody now who can take care of the history part
So I told
knowledgeably.
Yeah, no one can compare to Dixie for
No,
sure.
nobody can compare to Dixie.
Dixie is a hard one. She's incredible. She actually still helps us. She still helps us, but we're working on something to where we can. And I still need to talk to Dixie about this. So if she's listening, she's going to hear what I'm going to ask her. But I would love to have Dixie do like a tape of her talking, like walking through our downtown that we could actually play on motor coaches and things like that, because her knowledge, I would love to have just a small portion of her brain in all that she knows, because she's just an incredible person and historical. But we have had people go with her to try to mimic kind of, what she knows. But it's hard. I mean, to have someone like Dixie, that did that for so many years for us, to have someone that knows that much.
Well, yeah, she knows it cold.
Yes, everything. She knows everything.
Well,
Bardstown's Google.
Yeah.
That's what I call her.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we love Dixie.
well, on the what's the looking into your crystal ball, Stacy? What how's the picture for tourism look like for the rest of this year and into next year, barring like a 2020 pandemic? I mean, that was kind of disastrous for a lot of businesses and just shutting things down.
Right.
But one of the amazing things to me was when all the bans were lifted, people wanted to get out and travel, and we had a, from my perspective, a big surge in people coming back. Tourism bounced back pretty quick.
We did, and what we're seeing in trends is that people aren't looking for the big cities anymore. They're looking for small town USA, and that's what we offer to people. We used to be, people would come to Bardstown after they had been to Louisville. They would stay there, but now they're coming just for us. And we've done a good push on, targeting different groups of people, and so we'll continue that. Right now, our numbers are not slowing down. All we're seeing is increases. We're going to continue to hit all of our travel shows that we hit, internationally, domestically, motor coaches. So as of right now, we're going full force like we have been the last year, and hopefully we still see what we've seen last year.
Excellent. Well, I hope to see more motor coaches. To me, they were always a sign of success, of business, and now I will tell you a personal story. I worked summers for a number of years in college at Milton State Park, and Steve would bring the bus tours out to eat lunch at the state park, and one of the staples on every lunch, I think, was watermelon. And sometimes his crew would, of course, they're going to use the closest trash cans, and those were like 55-gallon drums. And if you've never had to lift trash bags out of a 55-gallon drum that's full with watermelon rind.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And and of course, watermelon rinds would attract yellow jackets. So it made kind of a hazardous workplace there for a while. But of course, you adapt, and that's what my brother and I, we worked together out there. And so we developed a system of, when a bag was really, really heavy, how to get it out without it busting. Of course, we used good quality bags, but anyway, but even then, even though the bags were heavy, but we got them empty, and we policed it. We didn't have to do much policing because his crew. I mean, other than a full trash can, you wouldn't know they were there.
Yeah.
And I always thought a lot of their ability to do that.
You have to adapt to the times. Yeah.
But anyway, to me, even though fighting the yellow jackets was a kind of a pain, I never got stung. I don't know, just living right, I guess. But anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyway, those times are just signs of well, of course, how else to say it, an entrepreneur who was working the market really well.
Absolutely, and that's what you have to do. You just have to figure out what people are looking for and adapt to that. So it's always a constant change for us. I mean, one day we may be hitting international, the next day we're on motor coaches, and I mean, it's just a constant, a change all the time for us, but we love it, and we're seeing big results from it. So.
Well, now a metric that I used to use was how many open storefronts there were around downtown. And that they don't seem to be open very often anymore.
No.
You know,
And
they
there's
get
waiting lists. People are ready. As soon as something opens, there are, you have a list of people that are waiting for something to open up. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And of course, in downtown, we've had a number of notable properties have changed hands with new owners or new entrepreneur owners. You know, and it's an exciting time to be downtown.
it is.
really
And there's such a variety. So there's, something for everybody.
You know, one of the big fears years ago was that our downtown would turn into offices and not retail. You know, and that was a valid concern, I'm sure, but it hasn't happened that way. You know, I mean, we have a tremendous mix, and I think that's healthy.
Yeah. I will say this year's Christmas, and I'm not going to steal any spotlight from Main Street, but they'll be making some big announcements soon, and you're definitely want to visit our downtown at Christmas this year.
All right. Well,
It's already beautiful I mean, it's just kind of magical looking down there. I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into making it that way.
A ton, but this
I'm
year's
sure it
going
does.
to...
But it really is just kind of magical to drive downtown
And
at night.
This year will be
at
extra
Christmas.
magical. So
Okay.
I'll wait for them to make that announcement, but
Okay.
it's going to be incredible for sure.
I wanted to ask you, I know that we have quite a few Airbnbs here in Bardstown.
Yes.
I mean, does that go through your all's office also?
So that goes through those individual websites. So we do collect taxes on VRBO and Airbnb. There's a little hitch right now with Airbnb, but that's across the state. But yeah, we do the same just like we would hotel rooms with those.
Also, I have to give a tip of the hat to the people, and I don't know who they are, what agency, the people that water the flowers and the hanging baskets.
That's always
and
beautiful.
it's so, and that's just a little thing, but it keeps downtown looking so beautiful.
It's the city of Bardstown. They do that for the Main Street program.
Oh, that
and
is
so you'll
awesome.
see them watering those flowers. Now, as far as planting them and things like that, that is the Main Street program that does that, but the city does help water those. So
Oh, good.
it's a huge thing to keep them pretty.
Yeah, well, it works. I'm sure people notice as much as I do. All right, that's it for Bradford and Brooks this week. Margie and I will be back next week, and I think we have Bardstown City Councilwoman Betty Kelly Hart.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week, so stay tuned and have a great week until then, and stay tuned for the news at the top of the hour.